Hello my viewers and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, then don't forget to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up by tapping on the like button, and feel free to be part of the conversation by sharing your thoughts in the comment section down below. Now in this video, different people talk about the recent United Nations Assembly, which witnessed a striking moment. A diplomatic walkout during Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's speech. Now as he took the stage, the room was filled with representatives from around the globe, emptied out. But what caught one observer's attention was the noticeable absence of diversity among those who remained. While black and brown diplomats chose to leave, their palm-color counterparts stayed, giving Netanyahu an audience and in effect, legitimizing his word. Now, this poignant observation has sparked a crucial conversation about palm-color supremacy and its insidious presence in global politics. The lady in the video eloquently points out that right there is palm color supremacy in action. That is how palm coloredness props up palm color in Western violence. Now, her words resonate deeply, highlighting the systemic issues at play. So with that said, join the discussion as we explore the complexities surrounding this diplomatic walkout and its broader implications for Netanyahu himself. What does this mean to him? Take a look at the videos. I will be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, order. Order, please.
You may not heard, but there was some people clapping as Netanyahu approached to start his speech at the UN. As many people, it was almost empty, left before his speech. But I have two questions. Who are those people clapping in the gallery? Did he bring them with him in his private jet with our tax money? Or how much they got paid? As I'm really wondering, for clapping, how much you get paid? Because it seems like good business, to be honest.
Did you see the United Nations General Assembly walk out as Netanyahu comes to give his speech? I'm just so happy. I mean, kudos to them. I mean, it's the place was almost empty. So how do you think this will affect him? Because personally, I think he won't care. He's going to keep on. What is he? A sociopath? Narcissist? I think he's beyond narcissism. So what do you think? What is he? Psychopath? Sociopath? Everyone is against him. Do you think it's going to stop him? What do you think? I mean, like, I wonder what was in his mind as he was out there seeing everyone just leave. They just left. Exit stage left. Okay, so get the point. What is wrong with him? Why is the world letting him continue to do this? What is wrong with these leaders? Somebody has to do something. Stop it, to make it stop. Anyway, so it's just frustrating to sit and watch this as just a normal person, which most of us are, to sit and watch this continue. Anyway, I'm so glad, I'm so proud of all of those leaders around the world who walked out on that United Nations General Assembly and did not hear that stupid speech, whatever the hell he has to say. Or he just spews lies and lies and lies. He's just very... Anyway, let me know what you think.
So I just saw the video of the diplomatic walkout during Netanyahu's speech to the UN, and what I noticed during this video is the diplomats who chose to leave are people we code as black and brown. Black and brown people getting up to leave the room while an active supremacist genocider is speaking. Black and brown people, black and brown people, black and brown people, and all white people just sitting there and giving this path an audience and actively legitimizing anything he could have to say to the United Nations. That right there is white supremacy in action. That is how whiteness props up white and Western violence. There is no reason, besides supremacy and deeply rooted racism, why all the people leaving that room should have been black and brown people, and all the people sitting there and listening attentively and nodding as this war criminal spoke should have been white people. Use your eyeballs. We don't have to work that hard to pull back the curtain of what's happening here. It is directly in front of all of our faces. And this is a reminder to all of the white people I know who have been quiet on this, that being a traitor against white supremacy is a good thing. betraying the in-group power and privilege of whiteness will always be a good thing.
Watching Netanyahu's speech today at the UN gave me the feeling that this is a man who's on his last legs, a man who's trying to justify the unjustifiable. It was a mix of so many things that brought me to that conclusion. The huge number of delegates who walked out when he started his speech, the renter crowd who was sitting in the bleachers clapping every one of his deluded statements, the moment he spoke about Saudi Arabia, and when the camera panned to Saudi Arabia, there was no one in their seats. He was only speaking to his sycophants and his financiers. The majority of the human race is not behind this tyrant. As he rambled on about the UN being anti-Semitic, or calling the delegates who merely recognized the colossal suffering of the Palestinians in Gaza pro-Hamas, his whole speech was irrelevant and impotent. It lacked humanity. One thing is for sure, the world sees through this madness. My only hope is that the world gets to see justice against this tyranny.
It takes a special, almost comical level of audacity to think, I'm gonna change about 80 years of history with a couple of maps right about now. Like, what did Benjamin Netanyahu's speechwriters think he was going to do? Justify for 500 people this week and over 40,000 people for this year with a couple of maps, and then tell the UN to reward him with a major peace plan that would be like a generational breakthrough when it comes to diplomacy? Like, what did he think was going to happen? And yes, I understand that you have to look at this through the lens of domestic Israeli politics, because that's the thing that he's most immediately scared of right now. But with that being said, you need to stick by the ceasefire that the US proposed 2 days ago if you want to have any credibility on the international stage. Like, and that's just from like a purely pragmatic, like, political point of view. It's not necessarily even from a humanitarian point of view. Because, like, from a humanitarian point of view, he should be shut out from the international community forever. Just honestly, I do find it deeply confusing in terms of strategy, but I also find it deeply upsetting and deeply dehumanizing in terms of policy. And I think that's probably what upsets me the most. Although trying to explain to the UN like they're a bunch of fourth graders how they're wrong and how they've been wrong for their entire history about your country and your country's relations with its neighbors is a take. And it's like, at a minimum, you do have to acknowledge, like, even if you're a Netanyahu supporter, that he does not care about the global majority. Like, he does not care about non-Western countries, really non-US countries. And he deeply disrespects kind of all human life outside of Israel. So, I don't know. That's just my take, but it's also, like, I don't know, kind of objective. Because again, I don't really have a dog in this fight. Like, I'm an American. It would probably be more convenient for me to support Israel.
Now, in the video, we see a group of diplomats, including the Iranian delegation, interrupting Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's speech on Friday before the United Nations as they walked out of the General Assembly headquarters in New York. An Agence France Presse AFP correspondent reported that diplomats left the hall upon Netanyahu's arrival. Now, his speech began amid chants inside the General Assembly before he spoke and the departure of a member of delegations. Netanyahu said in his speech, "Israel seeks peace. Israel yearns for peace. Israel has made peace and will make peace again. Yet we face savage enemies who seek our annihilation, and we must defend ourselves against them. These savage unalivers, our enemies, seek not only to destroy us, but they seek to destroy our common civilization and return all of us to a dark age of tyranny and terror." Now, Netanyahu made these comments as Israel continues to be targets belonging to the Iran-backed Hezbollah group in southern Lebanon amid fears that the attacks could spiral into a full-scale regional war. In his speech, Netanyahu sought to pin the blame for the conflict on Israel's arch-enemy, Iran, saying Israel was defending itself against Tehran on 7 fronts, stressing, "We must all do everything in our power to ensure that Iran never gets weapons. Yes, we are defending ourselves, but we are also defending you against a common enemy that through violence and terror, seeks to destroy our way of life, he said, adding, I didn't intend to come here this year. My country is at war, fighting for its life. But after I heard the lies and slanders leveled at my country by many of the speakers at this podium, I decided to come here and set the record straight. The Israeli Prime Minister added, a normalization deal between Saudi Arabia and Israel seemed closer than ever, but then came the curse of October 7th. We will not rest until the remaining hostages are brought home. Netanyahu also claimed that the Israeli army has unalived or captured more than half of Hamas's 40,000 fighters and destroyed 90% of its arms. Now, he expressed his concern that if Hamas stays in power, it will regroup, re-aim, and attack Israel again and again and again. We are ready to work with regional and other partners to support a local civilian administration in Gaza, committed to peaceful coexistence. Now, he declared this war can come to an end now. All that has to happen is for Hamas to surrender, lay down its arms, and release all the hostages. Now, as for Hezbollah in Lebanon, he remarked, Israel has been tolerating his intolerable situation for nearly a year. Well, I've come here today to say enough is enough. We won't rest until our citizens can return safely to their homes. We will not accept a terror army perched on our northern border, able to perpetrate another October 7th style unaliving. As long as Hezbollah chooses the path of war, Israel has no choice. Regarding normalization with Arab countries, Netanyahu indicated, we must continue the path we paved with the Abraham Accords 4 years ago. Above all, this means achieving a historic peace agreement between Israel and Saudi Arabia. He added, the ICC prosecutors rushed to judgment. His refusal to treat Israel with its independent courts the way other democracies are treated is hard to explain by anything other than pure anti-Semitism. Now, a large number of diplomats and other officials walked out of the United Nations General Assembly in New York City on Friday as Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu prepared to defend his nation's unaliving of more than 41,000 people in the Gaza Strip during the past year and over 700 in Lebanon this week. Now, journalists and critics of the global pariah shared photos and videos of people filing out of the hall before Netanyahu's address, which came just a day after 25 anti-genocide protesters were arrested for blocking his motorcade in Manhattan. Now, while there was some audience applause from the sparsely populated room on Friday, Al Jazeera Arabic's Rami Ayari explained that the people you hear cheering the PM during the speech are in the gallery who he brought for that purpose. Now, Council on American Islamic Relations National Executive Director said in a statement that as the far-right openly artist Israeli government continues its genocide in Gaza and expands its campaign of state terrorism to civilians in Lebanon, this mass walkout during war criminal Benjamin Netanyahu's UN speech demonstrates the international community's rejection of genocide. Now, he added that US President Joe Biden should take note of our government's growing isolation on the international stage, change his policy and support human rights and international law without an exception for the Palestinian people. Since Israeli forces launched their assault on Gaza in retaliation for the Hamas-led October 7 attack, the United States government has stood by Israel, sending billions of dollars in weapons and opposing UN resolutions while claiming to be pushing for a ceasefire. Addressing the General Assembly earlier this week, Biden called the security for Israel and Gaza free of Hamas's grip. In response to Diplomats' Friday walkout, Trita Passy, Executive Vice President of the Quincy Institute for Responsible Statecraft, said that the impunity Biden has offered Israel has been used by Netanyahu to make Israel an international pariah, neither good for the US nor for Israel. Now, Passy also highlighted a clip of Slovenian Prime Minister Robert Golob's speech to the UN in which he urged Netanyahu to stop this war now. Netanyahu began his Friday address by taking aim at the world leaders who throughout the week have condemned the recent escalation against Hezbollah in Lebanon, as well as the past year of Israeli forces and starving Palestinians in Gaza. Now, many are left wondering what this means for Netanyahu's leadership and legacy. Can he take this as a sign that people are no longer supporting him? Like, is it time for him to step down? Netanyahu has been a dominant figure in Israeli politics for decades, serving as prime minister since 2022 and previously from 1996 to 1999 and 2009 to 2021. However, his tenure has been marred by controversy, including criticism over expanding Israeli settlements in the occupied West Bank, deemed illegal under international law. Now, the walkout, led primarily by diplomats of color, is seen by some as a powerful statement against Netanyahu's policies. It highlights the growing international dissatisfaction with his leadership. The fact that palm-color diplomats remained giving Netanyahu an audience underscores the persistence of palm-color supremacy in global politics. But what do my viewers think about this? Is this walkout a turning point for Netanyahu's leadership? Should he take it as a sign to step down? Share your thoughts in the comment section. Thank you for watching and see you in my next video as I bring you another interesting video.